If you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, this one might sting a little. But if you're just a fan of wild, unpredictable NFL action, then buckle up, because this game had everything: drama, tension, and a finish that left everyone on the edge of their seats. The Chiefs, a team that's become almost synonymous with late-game heroics and clutch performances, found themselves on the wrong side of another nail-biter. And for the third time this season, it was a one-score loss. This time, the Jacksonville Jaguars were the ones celebrating as the final whistle blew. Kansas City just took their third one-score loss, this time to the Jaguars. The final score? Jaguars 27, Chiefs 21. It was a game that swung back and forth, with both teams trading big plays and momentum shifts. But when it mattered most, the Jaguars made just enough plays to come out on top, handing the Chiefs another gut-wrenching defeat. Let's break down what's really going on. Because, while the scoreboard tells one story, the details of this game, and this season, paint a much more complicated picture for Kansas City. Alright, Chiefs fans, let's talk about the elephant in the room. This isn't just a fluke. This is starting to look like a pattern. The Chiefs, who have been the gold standard in the AFC for years, are suddenly struggling to close out games. And it's not just the losses, it's how they're losing. Each defeat has come by a single score, and each one has exposed a different set of issues. For the third time this season, Mahomes and the Chiefs dropped a heartbreaker, falling to the Jaguars by just 6 points. You could see the frustration on Mahomes' face as the clock wound down. The Jaguars, meanwhile, erupted in celebration, knowing they'd just taken down one of the league's perennial powerhouses on their own turf. The offense kept it close, but penalties and dropped passes? Yikes. It felt like every time the Chiefs started to build momentum, a yellow flag or a missed catch would bring everything to a screeching halt. The Chiefs racked up 8 penalties for 75 yards, many of them coming at the worst possible moments. And the drops, let's just say Mahomes didn't get much help from his receivers, with at least 5 passes hitting the turf that should have been caught. Meanwhile, Trevor Lawrence and the Jags look sharp, spreading the ball around like they own Arrowhead. Lawrence finished with 312 yards and 3 touchdowns, connecting with 7 different receivers. The Jaguars' offense was balanced, creative, and aggressive. Everything the Chiefs' offense used to be. And when they needed a big play, Lawrence delivered, whether it was a pinpoint throw down the sideline or a perfectly executed screen pass. Let's talk about Mahomes for a second. Yes, he still put up 283 yards and 2 touchdowns, but he also had 2 costly turnovers. And the offensive line. Well, let's just say they didn't do him any favors. Mahomes was under constant pressure, forced to scramble and improvise on nearly every drop back. The Jaguars' defense came in with a clear game plan: make Mahomes uncomfortable and force him into mistakes. And it worked. The first interception came on a tipped pass, one of those plays where you can't put all the blame on the quarterback. But the second, that was a backbreaker, coming late in the fourth quarter with the Chiefs driving for a potential game-winning score. Mahomes tried to force a throw into tight coverage, and the Jaguars made him pay. It was the kind of mistake we rarely see from the former MVP, and it proved costly. Let's just say Josh Allen and the Jags pass rush had a field day. Allen finished with 2 sacks and 4 quarterback hits, constantly collapsing the pocket and forcing Mahomes to throw off his back foot. The rest of the Jaguars' defensive front got in on the action too, combining for 4 sacks and countless pressures. It was a dominant performance, and it exposed some serious issues with the Chiefs' offensive line. 4 sacks, that's not gonna cut it. Not when you're facing a team as talented and opportunistic as the Jaguars, and not when your offense is already struggling to find its rhythm. The Chiefs' offensive line has been a concern all season, but this game put those issues under a microscope. If they can't protect Mahomes, it doesn't matter how talented he is, he can't do it all by himself. So now the big question, what's really going on with the Chiefs? Is this just a mid-season slump, or is it the start of something more serious? NFL analysts are already debating whether Kansas City's dynasty is in danger. Some say it's just a rough patch, the kind every great team goes through. Others see deeper problems, issues with the roster, the coaching, maybe even the culture. Now, everyone's asking, is this just a mid-season slump or the start of something worse? The Chiefs have set such a high standard over the past few years that anything less than dominance feels like a crisis. But the truth is, the NFL is a league of parity. Every team has weaknesses, and right now the Chiefs' flaws are being exposed. Chiefs' defense is solid, but the offense just isn't clicking. The defense did its job for most of the game, holding the Jaguars to field goals on several key drives and forcing a turnover of their own. But when your offense can't sustain drives, can't convert on third down, and keeps giving the ball away, it puts too much pressure on the defense. Eventually, something's gotta give. And with the Bills and Ravens up next, things aren't getting any easier. Both teams are loaded with talent on both sides of the ball, and both are fighting for playoff positioning. The Chiefs' margin for error is shrinking fast. If they don't figure things out soon, they could find themselves in a real battle just to make the postseason. The mood in Kansas City is tense. Fans are starting to worry, and you can feel the anxiety building with each close loss. Mahomes, usually the picture of confidence, looked almost shell-shocked on the bench after the game. The questions are swirling. Can this team get back on track? Or is this the beginning of the end for the Chiefs' run as AFC favorites? So, is it panic time in Kansas City? That's the million-dollar question. Some fans are already hitting the panic button, calling for changes and demanding answers. Others are preaching patience, reminding everyone that it's a long season and that Mahomes and Andy Reid have earned the benefit of the doubt. But one thing's for sure, the pressure is on, and the margin for error is razor thin. Or will Mahomes and Andy Reid get the magic back? We've seen them do it before, rallying the team, making adjustments, and finding ways to win when it matters most. The Chiefs still have the talent, the coaching, and the experience to turn things around, but it's going to take more than just hope. It's going to take execution, discipline, and maybe a little bit of that old Kansas City magic. So, what do you think? Is this just a rough patch, or are the Chiefs in real trouble? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you love NFL drama, wild finishes, and in-depth breakdowns like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll be here every week, breaking down the biggest stories, the wildest games, and all the twists and turns of this crazy NFL season. Stay tuned, because if there's one thing we know about the Chiefs, it's never boring in Kansas City.